What's up, everybody? It's JT Sports, and I'm actually guys with another video. And before I begin, make sure to like the video and subscribe. A little NFL videos and NFL content daily. So make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you never miss a video. And let's get into it. So I'm here with you guys with my AFC East 2019 NFL draft grades. Now, for those of you guys who are just here to see the grade that I gave your team, timestamps will be down in the description down below. So let's get into it. So the first team we have are the Buffalo Bills. Now the Buffalo Bills had a pretty solid draft. One of my favorite picks was not Ed Oliver, even though it was a good pick, but my favorite pick was the fact that they took offensive guard Cody Ford. Now, offensive line was one of the biggest concerns coming into this offseason for the Buffalo Bills, but ended up addressing it in free agency, and now they only need a franchise left tackle, and I believe you can get that out of Cody Ford. Now, Cody Ford can play offensive guard and he can play offensive tackle. I think he should end up playing offensive tackle for the Buffalo Bills. But either way, even if he plays offensive guard or offensive tackle, this is a very good pick for the Buffalo Bills. And it is my favorite pick. And also Devin Singletary. This made a lot of sense. They have LaShawn McCoy, they have Frank Gore. Both of those guys are up there in age. Frank Gore is most likely going to retire after this season. LaShawn McCoy, we don't know how much he has left in the tank. And plus, he was battling injuries last season. So Devin Singletary should be a guy who can get a lot of carries, probably about 120 something carries this year. And then eventually, over the next couple of seasons, become that main guy for the Buffalo Bills. I also like Rashawn Joseph, who they drafted in round 5. He should be a linebacker who can start right away. And also, I like Jaquan Johnson. They still didn't address a couple of needs like wide receiver and cornerback. I mean, they have two cornerbacks, EJ Gaines and Kevin Johnson, are both playing on 1 year deals. So the grade that I'm giving them is a B plus. I mean, even though they didn't take a cornerback or a wide receiver, I would have had liked them to. I still think they will be pretty solid. I think they had a pretty good draft, and I agree with this B plus rating. So the next team I have up next are the New England Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots had a very, and when I mean very good draft, they had a very good draft, and I think they had the second best draft in the NFL behind the Cleveland Browns. Now, the New England Patriots in the first round took wide receiver N'Keal Harry, which obviously was a need for the New England Patriots. They needed a wide receiver, and he's a big body guy. Tom Brady is going to have a lot of fun with this guy, especially when they get into the red zone. He's without a doubt going to be a starter right away. And he's an upgrade because I believe he's probably going to play that outside wide receiver position, that same position that Chris Hogan played, and he's definitely an upgrade over Chris Hogan. Chris Hogan was a okay player, but N'Keal Harry is even better, so they upgraded at the wide receiver position. Then they got Jawan Williams, who was an underrated prospect coming into this draft. They got Chase Winovich. They got Damian Harris. And they got my favorite offensive lineman in this draft, Yanni Kajust, an offensive tackle. And they already drafted the offensive lineman in the first round of last year, the offensive lineman out of Georgia last season, but he ended up getting injured and he didn't take a snap last year. So the New England Patriots, this draft was very, very good. And also, we can't forget about how they took Jared Stidham in round 4. So the grade I'm going to give the New England Patriots is an A plus. Like I said, they had the second best draft behind the Cleveland Browns, and it was a perfect draft. I mean, these guys got so many good players, and didn't reach for any of them. They got Damian Harris, Yanni Kajus, who is without a doubt going to be a starter on that Patriots offensive line. That Patriots offensive line is going to be very, very good. Chase Winovich is also going to be a starter. These guys got 5 starters and their first couple of picks. Without a doubt, this is a very, very good draft by the New England Patriots, and the rich get richer. So the next team that we have up next is the Miami Dolphins. Now, the Miami Dolphins draft was it was okay. I think the highlight of the draft was Josh Rosen. Even though they didn't draft him, they traded for him. They traded a second round pick and they received Josh Rosen. And I think he's going to be the guy moving forward. I don't know who's going to be that starting quarterback for this season, Ryan Fitzpatrick or Josh Rosen, but they found their franchise quarterback. And then they went out with the 13th overall pick and they got Christian Wilkins, who was an absolutely great pick because one of the biggest flaws on that Miami Dolphins defense was their inability to stop the run. And a big part of that was because they never were able to find the guy who could replace Ndamukong Suh. So now they have a guy in Christian Wilkins who all he does is just stop the run. This guy is a freak. I mean, this guy in Clemson spring game a couple of seasons ago was playing cornerback. This guy is super athletic, super freaky, and without a doubt, he is going to do just that at clogging those running lanes. They also took Michael Dieter in the third round. I also like the Isaiah Prince pickup in round six, and they took Miles Gaskins at round seven. So the grade I'm giving the Miami Dolphins is a B minus because they didn't really have a lot of picks, and I'm not going to try to hold that against them, but I felt they still could have tried to pick up or tried to acquire some extra picks, try to get a wide receiver or two, or maybe try to get a corner. I really wanted them to take a corner that could be opposite on the other side of Xavier and Howard because Minka Fitzpatrick is a great slot corner, and I really thought they could use an additional corner to go alongside of the other side of Xavier and Howard, and also they could use another wide receiver. But I'm gonna give them a B minus. Still a pretty solid draft for the Miami Dolphins. And the last team that we have is the New York Jets. Now, like the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets didn't really have a lot of draft picks, so they were maneuvering their way around the draft. And they got some pretty good players on the defensive side of the ball. Third overall, they took Quentin Williams. I'm glad they chose not to trade down that pick. It was either going to be Josh Allen or Quentin Williams. They ended up taking Quentin Williams, the explosive pass rusher from Alabama, and now you pair him up with Leonard Williams. That's a scary defensive line right there. And then in the third round, they took Ja'Kai Polite, who is a first round talent, but I mean, he had terrible interviews, which is why he dropped all the way down to the third round. They drafted this guy, Chuma. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name out of USC. I think that's a pretty good pick. He could be a pretty good developmental pick. I really, really like Trayvon Westco out of West Virginia, the tight end. He can play fullback as well. He reminds me a lot of Nick O'Leary, but hopefully he'll be a more productive version of Nick O'Leary. So the New York Jets had a pretty good draft, and the grade I'm going to give the New York Jets is a B plus. Now, I wish the New York Jets could have acquired a few more picks because I would have liked them to take at least another wide receiver or another cornerback. But overall, this is a very, very good draft for the New York Jets, excuse me. They got very good on the defense side of the ball. They got two starters on the defense, Quentin Williams and Ja'Kai Polite. I think those two are going to be very, very good on the New York Jets team this season. And that's all for this video. Make sure to comment what you think down in the comment section down below. Also, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more NFL content and videos. And thanks for watching.